Fox News Alert right now, opening arguments underway right now. U.S. Supreme Court health care hearings, day 1 of 3 today. And today it's the Department of Health and Human Services versus the state of Florida. Now, the Tea Party, what you see screen left there is the view outside with protesters of all stripes out there today on a beautiful day in our nation's capital. The Tea Party was opposed to a health care mandate from day one, and so too was Steve King, the Iowa Republican, and member of the Tea Party caucus with me now. And to you.
Good morning, Bill. It is a great morning here.
What a day this is. I mean, what is your sense? Do you have the opinion that's rooted in confidence, or are some nerves that run through you today? And what's your feeling?
I feel like we've been training for a great big ball game when the weather's right and the fans are out there and the colors are showing on both sides of this, and there's a great anticipation. But I can't predict the winner. This is going to be a close call, I think. And you know, my head and my heart says, and my brain tell me that it is not that hard to figure out from a constitutional perspective.
How so?
It's just that it's hard to well, simply because of the individual mandate component of this. It relies heavily on the Commerce Clause, and the Commerce Clause in the Constitution requires that there be an interstate commerce link. And that interstate commerce link is pretty hard to make when you realize that in every state, in every decade, there have always been babies born, lived, sometimes a long, full life, and died without engaging in health care whatsoever, let alone interstate commerce that has to do with health care. So to mandate that everybody buy a policy is a huge reach. And this is just the kind of government that the Founding Fathers wanted to limit. And I don't know how the Supreme Court gets to this by some rationale to find it constitutional.
All right. Let me try and poke at that a little bit here. Over the past 75 years, I'm reading now, I believe this is Wall Street Journal. I'll get you a source in a moment here. Over the past 75 years, the court almost always has deferred to Congress when it asserts the Commerce Clause. Wall Street Journal, yes, just Braven there. To commerce power, meaning they allow Congress to do what it wants when a law is in question as it applies to the Commerce Clause. And what court observers argue is that the court has gone in favor of Congress enacts as law. And that has been the trend. Do you see it that way, or is this completely different from what we've observed in the past 7.5 decades?
Well, I haven't tracked that trend case law by case law, so I can't really comment on how that view of that trend might be. But this is a whole new zone, a whole new territory, and it goes into the territory of compelling one to make a purchase of a government-approved product that is declared to be an interstate commerce product to just get the constitutional linkage and rationalization justification. Congress has never done so. And if this great leap of 1/6 of our economy is imposed by the federal government and the court approves this kind of a stretching of the Commerce Clause, then there's nothing left that exists of the Commerce Clause, in my opinion, and the federal government could impose any kind of a duty, any kind of a responsibility. They could commandeer not just 1/6 of our economy, but 25%, 50%, 100% of our paycheck and tell us how to spend it all. They could actually put us in debt in the company store if this case comes down to the other side's rationalization of the Commerce Clause.
It also could be a cloudy picture in the end. Who knows in late June when the ruling is expected as to whether or not they will address all these concerns. They could, for lack of the best phrase in Washington, they could kick it down the road.
Well, they could, Bill, and what they could come with a partial decision. One of them is that the bill does not have in it, the 2,600 pages doesn't have in it a severability clause. And that's the clause that would declare that if one part of the bill is found unconstitutional, all parts of the bill stand regardless. They pulled that out for whatever their rationale was. There's been some discussion on those reasons. Okay. But the courts then have the latitude to decide, and should, I think, because of its omission, they should throw the whole thing out. None or all would be my statement.
Okay. Steve King, thank you for your time. We all wait.
Thank you very much, Bill. It's going to be an interesting place here in Washington, D.C. these 3 days.
Hey, it already is.